And a welcome to you on this Friday afternoon. It is a historic weekend here in River Forest, Illinois. We welcome you to the 69th annual CIT Concordia Invitational Tournament. Alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Fahey. And Carter, this is basically our Olympics. River Forest gets to host this every 4 years. It's been loud here. You can kind of hear the band kicking up once again. It's going to be a fun weekend.
Geisman Gymnasium is going to be absolutely packed. They've brought out extra seating. We already see fans from Ann Arbor coming in crazy costumes. It's going to get wild today.
And with this just to begin it, we got 4 games on tap for you here today. We'll talk about the matchups. We're going to have the women's game first between Concordia, Nebraska, and Concordia, Ann Arbor. We'll talk about that in just a couple of moments. But Carter, just a little more history on this tournament, as this is one of the longest running college basketball tournaments in any level of division basketball.
It's been one of the longest, like you mentioned, and it's been dominated by Concordia, Nebraska. The women's teams have won 29 CIT titles, 6 of them straight, and they're coming in to be defending champions today. And the men's have won 27 CIT titles, so you could say that the Bulldogs have dominated the CIT.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. And as we start to dive into our first matchup today, as you get a look at Concordia, Ann Arbor, and the Cardinals, who come in with a record of 12-7 overall, 7-5 in conference play. We'll talk about what conferences each team's come from here in just a little bit. But let's flip it back over to Concordia University, Nebraska, the Bulldogs. Number 3 in NAIA D2 in the country, 13-1 in the Great Plains Athletic Conference. And, you know, Carter, this is a team, we talk about this with Concordia Chicago in terms of steals, but boy, they are just a carbon copy and maybe better at that in that department too.
And when you say steals, this team is absolutely insane. Almost 22 steals a game. It's absolutely unheard of for a team that we've seen play as well. But also, too, their turnover margin is absolutely fantastic. They've been forcing teams turn it over 33 times a game while only turning it over 17 times themselves. So you're going to see a very aggressive Bulldog team today, and it's going to be exciting to watch.
And what's interesting about them is that they have the offense of wealth spread around by a numerous amount of players. Grace Berry, the 5'7" junior from Lincoln, Nebraska, is the only player for this Bulldogs team that is in double-digit scoring average at just 13 points a game at 46% shooting from the field. And she also, we talked about steals, she leads the team in that department at 3.5. Let's flip now to the other side of the coin here for the Cardinals of Concordia University, Ann Arbor. We mentioned them, 12-7 overall on the season, 7-5 in the WHAC, which is the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference. And for them in particular, you know, you look at a team here, yeah, they've had their struggles from going back to a season ago with head coach Kiefer Haffey at the charge in his second season at the helm, but they've turned it around from a 20-30 season to, well, look at what they are now, 12-7 with a 5 games above 500 record.
And it's kind of been that thing where they've kind of had ups and downs throughout the program, even throughout the season this year. They started December, they went 6-0, but currently they just lost in one of their last games against Siena Heights and been 2-3 since then. So it's kind of like to see this roller coaster of a ride on the season, but it's a great turnaround for a program that has struggled in the past.
Well, as we go along our broadcast today, as you get a look at the Ann Arbor band, the Cardinals, and the Bulldogs as well. They've brought their units today, and I say that with their dance team, their cheerleading squad, student section, bands galore. It is going to be loud, and you see how filled it's already getting here on the lower bowl, and it's only going to get more crowded as we go along here on the day today. Coming up next, we'll get Carter's keys for both teams, and we'll get you set for the national anthem and starting lives, as this is the first of 8 games for the 2020 Concordia Invitational Tournament. Lineups and tip-off coming your way next.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that. And it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
As we welcome you back here inside the Geisman Gymnasium alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Fay. We're just a couple of moments away before we get you to tip-off to begin the 69th annual Concordia Invitational Tournament on this Friday, January 24th, 2020. And before we get to our introductions and our national anthem, Carter, let's get to some keys for both teams here in this opening contest.
Well, for the Cardinals of Ann Arbor, they're going to have their hands full today with a high-powered offense Bulldogs team that's averaging about 95 points a game. Part of that is also they got to take care of the ball. and it's something that the Bulldogs have been really good at, as I mentioned earlier, is making teams turn the ball over, opponents turning it over almost 33 times in a game. So as long as they take care of the ball and they keep possession while also slowing down the Bulldog attack, they're going to be okay. On the flip side, for the Bulldogs, in order for them to take control of this game early, they're going to have to limit the Cardinals' shooting. It's usually a team that's been pretty effective shooting almost 40% from the field, and that's partially because the offense is run through Tristan Williams, who's scoring about 14 points a game. So limiting the quality shots that they have should lead to a Bulldog victory.
And as our respective teams for our first matchup today get set to come off the court and get set for our opening tip, you see referees on your screen. Our referees for our first matchup today is Kelly Hill, Chris Harrow, and Bob Jenkins. You get a look as well at the Concordia, Nebraska Bulldogs, their cheerleading section and band in the background as well. I talked about this in our first segment, Carter. It's hard to hear myself right now. That's how crazy this gym is going to be all weekend long.
What'd you say?
Exactly.
There you go. I'm just saying.
Well done.
But you can see right now the energy that's already in Geisman, and you can see how far some of these teams have traveled. It's unbelievable to see the energy that's already going on in Geisman. You see the parents for Nebraska standing up. They had to travel from Seward, Nebraska. That is 8 hours away from Chicago. So you can see the fans are traveling and how important this tournament is for all four teams.
Maybe 8.5 if you account for city traffic around Chicago.
It's Chicago.
You have to account for that around here as the warm-up clock is beginning to wind on down. This is the first of 4 games we'll have for you today. The men's side of both universities will be taking place after the conclusion of this one, but a long way to go until we get to that 3:15 p.m. tilt. And, of course, we'll have the host Cougars, women and men, coming up at 6 o'clock and 8:15 respectively when they take on Concordia, Wisconsin. And now let's go over to the public address announcer, Jim Egan.
All who are able to please rise. Gentlemen, kindly remove your hats as we begin with an opening word of prayer by Concordia Chicago junior Yasmin Fox. After that, please remain standing as we honor America, the men and women of our military, and our first responders with our national anthem, which will be played this afternoon by the pep band of Concordia, Ann Arbor.
Dear most gracious and heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for allowing us all to be here and to arrive here safely. Please keep us safe as we continue through the weekend and just allow everybody to have a great CIT weekend. In your name we play, in your name we pray, amen. Concordia Invitational Tournament. Game 1 in our men's bracket is between the Lady Bulldogs of Concordia University, Nebraska, and the Cardinals of Concordia University, Ann Arbor. Concordia, Nebraska in the navy blue will be the visiting team on the scoreboard for this game. Ann Arbor in the white, the home team. And now let's meet the starting lineups. First, for the Lady Bulldogs. At guard, finally seated from O'Neill, Nebraska, number 4, Riley Simmel.
freshman from Brownstown, Michigan, number 4, Samantha Dorn. Back guard, a 5'6" freshman from Concordia, Michigan, number 5, Madison Birchmeyer. Back guard, a 5'9" junior from Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan, number 14, Katie Snow. Back forward, a 6'2" junior from New Baltimore, Michigan, number 20, Tristan Williams. And forward, a 5'10" junior from Clinton Township, Michigan, number 24, Janae Simmons. The assistant coaches are Sarah Becker, Casey Lowney, and Carrie Barolia. And the head coach of the Cardinals is Kiefer Haffey.
So now you've heard both starting lineups for both teams. You'll be seeing the Cardinals in their white jerseys, red trim, red numbers, and letters to correlate. While for the Bulldogs in the navy blue with the white trim, white numbers, and white letters. Again, our crew behind the scenes that's going to be here all weekend long. Our producer Shelby Spitz, on graphics and replay Julia Beers, and our camera operators Ryan McGee, Grace Miller, Julius Spitelli, and Kelly Guti, and of course our director C.J. Selner. The 2020 CIT tournament is underway. And off we go, tip controlled by the Bulldogs and Seibel. Seibel averaging just under 8 points a game. As the Bulldogs 18-2 overall, 13-1 rather, in Great Plains Athletic Conference play. Shot clock rather down to 10 as Duvel looks to go inside and off the screen. It works out to the top again. 3-ball up. That's too strong off the hands of Kepke. So now the Cardinals look to bring it the other way. Katie Snow, who leads the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference in steals at 3.3 a game. As this one's tipped out of bounds, it'll stay with the Cardinals. 17 on the shot clock. And even off opening tip, we mentioned how loud and proud the fan bases are here today. As it'll be a sideline inbound for Madison Birchmeyer, who is a 43% three-point shooter on the season. As now to the top of the circle, it was Dorn. They work inside now as left side of the paint, banking it home. Tristan Williams, who had a little bit of playing and then not playing from the latter stages of December here into January. She's averaging just over 13 points a game, Carter, and just at 6 rebounds as well. And she's going to be a force to watch out for from the Cardinals side of things today.
And you can see why. You see how effective she was in the paint when we worked it around the top of the key and just passing it in. She's going to be very effective for the Cardinals if they get her the ball.
Couple of back-to-back turnovers there, and in the end, the Cardinals are the ones that settle it down. As we're just underway here in the first of our 4-game slate here at Concordia, Chicago in River Forest, Illinois. Nice back cut in the paint, shot up no from Snow, but she is fouled and she'll be at the line for a pair.
And that's what's going to happen. They're going to find the holes in your offense. You can see there, Snow saw that nobody was protecting the baseline in the zone that the Bulldogs were in and just slipped down. Great look there from the top of the key and get the foul.
So, or I should say rather, that is Snow at the line. First free throw is good. She's a 77.5 free throw shooter on the season so far. 34% overall from the field. She averages just over 6 rebounds a game on top of that. As the second free throw is up and rolls out. And the rebound controlled by Philly Lammers.
And we're going to be saying her name a lot today, too. She's been effective on the offensive side. 8th all-time in scoring for the Nebraska Bulldogs in history.
And right on cue, Lammers. Free throw line extended with a one-hand shot off the glass, no, but gets her own rebound. In the paint again, shot no. Ball still in play, then it's eventually out of bounds. Last touch by the Cardinals.
Kind of a weird shot selection there by Lammers, but I guess it worked out because she got her rebound. But you see she was all in a sea of white right there, and she just ripped it out of the hands of the Cardinals defense.
So now into the game for Ann Arbor is Paige Johnson. As Jamae Simmons now will step off. Simmons as well, a double-digit scorer for the Cardinals as Lammers turning around and then trying to reset her footwork inside, but misses the shot. As now they're being the Cardinals facing a little backcourt pressure from the Bulldogs.
And that's why you see right there, they turn the ball over because the Bulldogs are going to put pressure on you all the time, and they do that with their full court zone press.
Johnson gets called for the foul. She thought she had all ball. 3-0 lead here for the Cardinals. Again, they're the home team on the scoreboard today. Bulldogs, the road team in this instance, as the first free throw from Duvel is good. Duvel, a 63.5% free throw shooter on the year. And as a team, they average just over 68% at the line, as that second one misses. Dorn gets through a couple of defenders, now to the right corner. They work quickly inside, and Carter mentioned it, yet another steal for the Lady Bulldogs. As now this swing pass, left wing three, that's no good. And the rebound still alive on the floor, and then a tie-up and a foul. It's gonna go against the Bulldogs, and head coach Drew Olson shaking his head at that one.
But you see just the overall aggressiveness from the Bulldogs. No matter what they're doing, whether it's the zone or the offense, they're going to press you and they're going to go fast because they're going to try to burn you out as fast as possible. And that's going to be another thing, too, is the Cardinals, if they want to keep pace in this game, they got to manage their energy because it's going to be a long haul against this high-power scoring Bulldog offense.
Sarah Turman now will check on in for the Cardinals. As this pass deflected and out of bounds, it'll stay with the Cardinals. And looks like we may have one official overruling the other. Let's see. There was a secondary whistle that came of it after the initial call. And it's going to stay that way. And Drew Olson, the coach for the Bulldogs, who, if you talk about his record, and now in his 14th season, his previous 13, Carter, 353 wins, 96 losses.
That's a great record, track sheet right there.
And another turnover in the backcourt. Bulldogs look to counter, count it, and the foul.
You didn't even look on that layup. You see, just throwing it up off the backboard, but great body control there by Duvel. Really controlling it and being aggressive on the defensive side.
So Duvel now will have the and one, as Madison Birchmeyer now will come back in. She'll replace Paige Johnson. Duvel at the line for the and one. As this and one opportunity is no good, and the rebound controlled by Jamae Simmons. So we noticed here from the Cardinals early on that when they face a little backcourt pressure, it seems to have gotten them a little out of sorts. This time they're successful, though, as this pass now to the left corner. It's Snow driving, shot blocked, and eventually scooped up in the end by Mackenzie Kepke. We're tied at 3, not anymore. As quickly getting the timeout there was head coach Kiefer Haffey for the Cardinals as he starts to feel the Bulldogs of Concordia, Nebraska getting some momentum. They lead by 2 with 6:47 to go. And Carter, your opening impressions of this first 3 minutes and 13 seconds of play.
It's been a fast 3 minutes for sure, and we've seen it. But you mentioned before that last basket that Concordia Ann Arbor had a little difficulty breaking the press. But that's the other thing, too, is that the Bulldogs, you see how fast they flip that. Once they get the ball on the turnover, they're looking for a quick outlet. And you can see how that, and just looking up the court, and then Philly Lammers doing what she does best is just finding open areas and giving her team points and key opportunities.
First time out there taken by Ann Arbor. As we come back in off it, of course, he's Carter Gledhill. I'm Ryan Fahey with you. The first of 4 games we have for you here today. Again, the men will be coming up after the conclusion of this one. Same 2 schools going at it for a projected tip-off of 3:15 p.m. here local time here in River Forest, Illinois. Nice step through there on that double team by Dorn, as Simmons gives it back to Dorn. Top of the circle, 3-ball, a high arcing 3 is good from downtown for Lindsey Farrington.
That was a great shot right there. Great, all because they broke the press, and you see just splitting through defenders. That's exactly what the Cardinals need to do if they're going to get the Bulldogs on their heels.
Whistle and a foul there. They get Simmons inside for it. Be a shooting foul. So that puts Duvel back at the line. She's 1 of 3 at the line here so far already. Making her 3rd trip to the line so far, just a few minutes into our opening contest. As the first of 2 here is no good. A attempt number 2. That's short, so some early free throw struggles here from Duvel, who has now officially gone now to 1 of 5 at the line today.
But you see, that's part of it because of this new environment that all players are going to be playing in today. It's a lot of noise and craziness going on early.
And off another steal, converting it to 2 points is Grace Berry, who is a 46% field goal shooter on the season. And a whistle and a foul before the inbound. And they're going to get that on Seibel. And now we're going to see a lot of changes here, so bear with us for a moment. Claire Cornell is now into the ball game along with Taylor Farrell. In addition to that, Mackenzie Hellman is also out onto the floor. And Taryn Schutte as well. I believe I got 4 players. We'll catch up as we go along if I did miss anybody. As Simmons, a high bounce dribble inside. Shot's no good. Simmons, or I should say rather, that's Williams, the offensive board. Misses the shot, but she's fouled. And that's going to go on Cornell, who just checked in. And for Cornell, who averages just over 6 points a game, we talk about the steal. She's got 17 total on the season as well for herself. As the first free throw there from Tristan Williams is good, a 71% free throw shooter on the season. She's got 1 more. I mentioned she's been actively in and out of action as of late, but when she's out on the floor, she is a difference for this Ann Arbor team.
You can see what she's been doing. She's creating the sparks, and she's creating offensive plays for the Cardinals. Because really without her, they lose a big part in their postgame.
It's Hellman now to the right side, guarded by Simmons. Facing a double team and a whistle and a foul. And it's going to go the other way, though, on Hellman. So now in for Ann Arbor is Jessica Neal, number 15, the senior from Gary, Indiana. And a collision, that's an offensive foul right off the inbound from Snow.
But you see, it's kind of difficult for the Cardinals because on that one, they're setting up a trap, but at the same time, too, you trying to bulldoze your ways through there, you're going to get in trouble with the offensive charge.
So both teams now at 14 fouls, so none left to give until the bonus takes effect for the quarter. So that'll slow the game down a little bit should more fouls continue, but it's out of bounds off the shot and after the whistle, and there is a Bulldog player down and I just saw the look of the right ankle there from Jessica, or I should say rather, that's Taylor Farrell, who when she kind of set up, it looked like that right ankle rolled, and that is not a good sight for the Bulldogs.
A lot of bodies that hit the floor right there. It's kind of hard when you get a player down in the paint, and you just get a lot of fallen bodies. You see there was a Cardinal fell over the top there too. Hopefully for the best there.
Yeah, I saw her from our vantage point here, just a few rows up above the scores table. When she kind of sat up after the fact, you could tell that ankle was just in a direction it really should not be in. As we talked about the loudness in this gym, and of course now rather silenced here with the injury timeout. Just over 5 minutes to play here in our first quarter. 8-7 to the Cardinals. Again, if you're just joining us, injury timeout on the floor. Taylor Farrell appears to have injured her right ankle from what we're seeing here. Appeared to have been stepped on during the, and I think we'll step aside as well for just a moment while
when you're in college, you kind of find out who you are. And throughout your 4 years, you develop yourself with all the different experiences, which leads into dedicating yourself to your community, to your family. So when you're a senior, you're coming out a well-rounded person.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests outside of the classroom and outside of the court or field. I've had the ability to get into different activities.
We're back with you here off the timeout. Taylor Farrell was carried off to the locker room, and nice round of applause she was given. So we're back with you here, just over 5 minutes to play. Alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Fahey. We'll be back to continuing play now. And again, we of course wish nothing but the best and recovery-wise for Taylor Farrell after that scary ankle injury. As the other way, that's a 10-second violation in the backcourt on the Cardinals. As Grace Berry is now back in for the Bulldogs in place of Farrell. So we talked about this backcourt pressure, Carter, from CUNE, and it has worked wonders here 3 minutes in as Berry right on cue off the glass misses.
But you also see on the other side with Coach Olson, he basically what he did was he switched out a whole 5 lineup for the Bulldog. So fresh steam, fresh life out there, and they're going to keep pressing you all day, and that's how they're going to keep beating you with the turnovers.
Williams can't get the shot to go. Berry now comes the other way. Berry bounce pass over to Schutte, and that's a travel. Now 4 new players coming back in, that being Seibel, Kepke, along with Lammers and Avery Lambrecht now who check in. As for the Cardinals, Lindsey Farrington now also in, number 23, as coming off is Jade Finfera. Cardinals still have the 1-point lead. And it may not last as Berry on the turnover. Layup is good. Boy, another backcourt turnover here for Concordia Ann Arbor. Turnover starting to rack up in this first quarter. That one batted away. Look out, Jim Egan. The public address announcer below us.
Down goes the Coke can.
Oh, no. Was it? Oh, yep. Oh, no. That's a casualty right there in the Coke can department.
Thank you that we're up already 5 rows up because I have my nice coffee mug over here. I don't want that thing getting ruined.
Yeah, that would not have been good. While they work down there, another steal for this Bulldogs team. Kepke then turns it over. And then a baseball pass ahead for Snow is out of bounds. Back to the Bulldogs again. A lot of wild passing here.
But you
from
see,
both sides.
When you see on the Nebraska side, the reason why they're able to get all these steals is because they're forcing the Cardinals to make long skip passes or cross-court passes, and then all it takes is someone like Simmons that you just saw for the Cardinals and doing the same thing for them is just picking them off and taking those passes that aren't usually good for moving around the ball.
Berry leaves that one off now for Kepke. Kepke in the paint. Right handy hook, no. And the rebound controlled by Duval. Now it's Berry, left arc 3, that's good. And Berry, who's an 18% three-point shooter, showing otherwise there. And it's now up to a 4-point Bulldogs lead.
But you see Duval again just moving the ball around on the Bulldogs side. That's how they're going to keep getting going and keeping the score up for the Bulldogs.
Neal couldn't counter with a 3 of her own. Seibel now for the Bulldogs. Inside, trying to split the defense, misses, and she'll be at the line. That foul there went on Simmons. A couple subs now in for the Cardinals as Doran and Williams back onto the floor. And that'll replace Simmons and Neal. Seibel at the line, a 75% free throw shooter on the year, averaging 7.8 points per game. Kind of an all-around player, averaging just over 2 rebounds, over an assist, 2 blocks on the season as well, and averaging 2 steals a game. But in terms of how many steals you average for this team and any player, it's just really not a surprise based on what head coach Drew Olson has kind of instituted in this team. Second free throw is good. So Johnson's now back onto the floor for Birchmeyer for the Cardinal side of things, as we have just over 3 minutes to play in our opening quarter. And it feels like the way that this game has started off the first 7 minutes in, you would think, as that's going to be a traveling violation there on Farrington, it feels more than a 5-point lead for the Bulldogs right now.
It does, but at the same time, we've seen so many back and forth turnarounds for both teams, and it's just going to be that way, I think, for a lot of games. That first quarter is just going to be really hectic because all these teams are going to just be adjusting to this new environment that they really haven't played in throughout the season.
So far, 14 combined turnovers. As now the other way, Cardinals look to try to answer with something. Missing on the shot was Snow, but it's picked up by Johnson in the far corner. It's Snow again driving baseline, kicked out to the top. Ball works around the perimeter quickly, 10 on the shot clock. Inside for Williams. And that is a jump ball that is going to be called, as there was a small tie up there that was called on the floor. So the arrow points to the Cardinals, and 6 on the shot clock. Sonoda have the inbound. Farrington gets it out. Johnson fakes the 3. Doesn't look like she was aware of the shot clock. And that one there, that's not going to make you happy if you're head coach Kiefer Haffey.
You see, you had 2 opportunities actually on that last inbound plan to get a shot up, but the pressure from the Bulldogs just really throwing the Cardinals offense out of rhythm.
Barry in the lane, scoop and missing the shot. Offensive rebound by Lammers, and another jump ball, and the arrow point over to Concordia, Nebraska. Birchmeyer's now back in along with Neal. They're replacing Johnson and Snow. No changes for the Bulldogs in this sequence. With just over 2 minutes to play in our opening quarter. Inside, tough shot is good by Philly Lammers, the 5'11 senior, who is working her way inside the lot. She's a 52% shooter on the season overall, as muscling her way inside there was Neal, and she's fouled. And that's going to go. Maybe pointed that as on. The referee had number 32. I think he may have meant. There you go. I think he meant 31 in Duval. So we don't have a 32 on our roster, as that first free throw is good. The second one coming up for Neal after making the first, down to a 6-point deficit. And you look there momentarily at the Ann Arbor crowd that has made the trip over here to River Forest. Second shot off the glass, no, and it's still alive. Williams picks it up and can't convert it, though, to a 3-point play. It's Barry to the left corner. Lammers, 3, no good. Rebound is still alive and then controlled for a moment by Koepke. And the arrow points the other way on the jump ball to the Cardinals. Stephanie Abraham now onto the floor, replacing Jessica Neal. Again, all 5 players for the Bulldogs defensively now backs off slowly. All in the backcourt here, Carter, and that is just one of the major reasons why the lead is where it's at right now. And almost right on cue, not a backcourt turnover, but it's a 3-on-1 as Barry finds it to Lammers. Kind of go with a fadeaway turnaround, missing everything there, and the rebound controlled by Dorn. Dorn facing a double team. Steps through it, finds it nicely to Williams. She's got numbers, keeps it herself. No, and a hard collision near the bleachers there. Again, you got to be careful along that side of the floor, Carter, because those bleachers where the Concordia, Nebraska band is at, that's not far away from where the out of bounds is at.
No, it's not. And then on top of that, too, you got to worry about the cheerleaders that are going to be on their toes again today. A lot of bodies going to be flying over there. But you see, again, just Cardinals, you see what happens when the Cardinals finally break a press in the trap that we saw from Nebraska right there. And then great job for just getting up the court there by Williams and just creating opportunities. And you mentioned that she was out for a good amount of the season earlier, but she's really been a spark of offense for the Cardinals.
Free throw there made as the Cardinals now get into double digits as we now have 1 minute to go here in our opening quarter. Barry. As this cross-court pass to the far side. Hellman for 3. That's no good. Rebound alive still. Tipped in off the baseline. Ball still alive and eventually secured by Claire Cornell. Shot clock reset to 20. And a whistle away from the ball. That 3's not going to count. And the foul's going to go on Katie Snow. And I didn't see the foul, so it was away from the ball inside the paint. But again, bonus in effect. So now at the line in this bonus for the Lady Bulldogs is Claire Cornell, who's a 82% free throw shooter. And that one softly off the back rim and in. I guess you can kind of get those bounces when you shoot that wall at the line. That one, though, is out, so she goes 1 of 2. Picked up there by Williams. Dorn over to Snow. Snow with a half minute to go, pulls up for the long shot. It's a good 3 as well.
Wow. Not only did she split the defender on the sideline, but a quick shot by Snow there. That was impressive pull-up for a 3.
And she gets the steal off the miscue there. Here come the Cardinals. Shot clock is off. Williams off the glass. No, rims out. And the rebound by Asleson. And this one is a out-of-bounds ball that's going to go to the Bulldogs as Turman now comes back out onto the floor for Ann Arbor. Still can't get over that shot from Katie Snow.
That was impressive.
It was one of those we weren't even expecting it. As Barry with 6. Barry off the glass, Snow. And Snow lets it go. And I guess she wanted that one in hindsight. Stays with the Bulldogs with 1.5 seconds remaining. Have to be a quick catch and shoot here as Barry has the inbound for the Bulldogs. Up by 3. Right arc, wide open. Cornell missing, but had a great look nevertheless. And that does it for our first quarter of play here inside the Geisman Gymnasium. But an interesting first quarter to say the least. Carter Glenhill, it's a 3-point lead for the Bulldogs at 16-13. Your first quarter thoughts?
It's been fast-paced basketball we've seen from both teams. And you see here we got Snow coming up on that 3-pointer we were crazy about.
I mean, we were expecting her. It looked like she was ready to drive, and all of a sudden just stopped on a dime and, well, pulled up for 3, and it looked like a dime from downtown.
That was an impressive shot, even to get around the defenders there. But you just see there's so much energy in this gym right now. You can see the players reacting to it, but everything is fast-paced. I think both teams turned up their game coming in here, being that fast-paced. It's an exciting environment. But you can also see on the flip side of that, too, a lot of turnovers early. And it's really hard to be successful in an environment like this if you keep turning the ball over in a close game.
Taking a look at some of the team stats here through one quarter of play. Not the prettiest, as Nebraska is shooting just 28% from the field, while Ann Arbor is at 30. While at the free throw line, the Lady Bulldogs are 3 of 9 at the line. That's not a stat that you want to be really down in, as Ann Arbor is 5 of 8. Total of 17 rebounds aside, or rather 17 for the Cardinals, 11 for the Bulldogs. And in terms of fouls, we had 12 combined, each team with 6, but one of the main things as well was turnovers. We had 17 combined turnovers in that first quarter, 13 coming from the Cardinals.
The thing about this also, too, looking at a stat, the turnovers, points off turnover, the Nebraska Bulldogs right now, they have 10 points off the turnovers. The Cardinals are scoreless right now, so if they're going to keep a contention with the Bulldogs, they got to start making some good, fast-paced breaks and score off those turnovers.
It's going to be a block foul after the pass from Snow. That's on Lammers. That's going to be her first. That'll be a team's first of the quarter as the team fouls reset here to begin the second quarter of play. Quick shot in off the inbound. That's good from Jamae Simmons. The junior from Clinton Township, Michigan delivers. As Barry's pass inside finds Lammers. It goes to the right corner. That 3-ball is up, and that 3-ball is good for Mackenzie Hellman.
Great vision, though, by Lammers, just seeing out in the corner, because when defenders converge on you, someone's going to be open, and Hellman was there ready to pull the trigger and shoot.
Almost stolen right back off the turnover originally, as Dorn couldn't save it. Get one more look at this inside as you see the 3-ball here from Mackenzie Hellman. Hellman so far 1 of 2 from downtown today. As now 3 from the near same spot for Seibel's no good. Cardinals can't secure the defensive rebound. Shot clock resets to 20 for the Lady Bulldogs. Scrappiness here on this play. And Barry will settle it down with 10 on the shot clock.
Everybody's going to be hustling for that ball, though. We've seen the aggressiveness from the Bulldogs.
Seibel with 4. Barry with 2. Heaves it from near half court off the glass. No. That one, it was a desperation heave at the hoop for Grace Barry. And a whistle. And did we just get a fan ejection? It looked like the far side official, we couldn't see it. It looked like one of those fans from the Ann Arbor student section, it looked like he lost his headwear and the official just ejected him. Oh, that's, wow. Anywho.
There you go.
Simmons inside, turn around, that shot's no good. Ball still loose on the floor, and eventually picked up by Barry. As we continue play, it's Hellman. That pass, it wasn't intended for Seibel, but she gets it anyway. Duval. Now for Barry at the top. Barry inside the free throw line, that floater's good.
Great job by Barry, seeing that the defender got a little confused in the paint in that kind of soft 2-3 zone they're playing, driving to the elbow and pulling up. Great shot there.
So Dorn for Williams. Shot's blocked, but she's fouled. That's going to go on Lammers. Actually, they're going to get that on Duval, excuse me. So Duval, rather, gets called for the foul. As Snow now comes out for the Cardinals, and she'll be replaced by Farrington. And also now in is Johnson in place of Birchmeyer. So Williams now at the line. She's 3 of 4 so far at the line today. Now make it 4 of 5. And there's that Ann Arbor student section with now one less fan.
Kind of looking at each other, like, you gotta tone it down a little bit. You don't want to be the next one. Paid good money to get in here, and you only saw a quarter of basketball.
Of course, we appreciate the enthusiasm and energy from all the schools that are in town today. As Barry, facing a double team, gets it inside there for Riley Pauly, who's now into the ball game. Schutte off a screen, in the paint, left-hand shot, no. And the rebound controlled by Farrington. It's left off now for Johnson.
You see Bulldogs back in that full court man-to-man press.
Ball loose. Either way, I think it's going to be a 10-second violation. That's the second time now that's been called, Carter Gledhill.
But it's also been the pressure. Like, you've seen that they've also switched on their full court. They've gone from man to a zone, and it's going to be really hard when you get those kind of 10-second violations. It's just something that's demoralizing for your team when you start to have momentum, and then it's just taken away by a careless mistake.
Claire Cornell now into the ball game for Concordia, Nebraska. As Barry leads off to the left side for Kepke, as her three is in and out. No good, and it goes out of bounds, and it'll go to the Cardinals. Johnson will have this inbound, and again, all 5 players for the Bulldogs staying in the backcourt here. That pass was tipped. Johnson finds it ahead, though, as it gets up to Simmons. Simmons to the right corner. Johnson finds a nice feed, who had a wide open three had she wanted it. As instead taking a three and scoring with that three is Lindsey Farrington.
Shooting 50% from behind the arc this year. Farrington pulling the trigger, and you can see how effective she's been, but that's all because of ball movement on the Cardinal side, creating open shots.
Kepke also had an open three should she have wanted to take that one. As now Barry has it with 10 on the shot clock. Barry switching from right to left, hands on the dribble, ball on the floor, and a whistle and a travel. Barry went to the floor. Officials said she had possession while going down with it. As Mackenzie Hellman now comes onto the floor.
You see there the turnovers again, just the pressure that Barry was going. She tried to dribble through 3 defenders, and that's something you like to see when you got a team like Nebraska and you've already been working around and finding open shots in the corner.
Osleson is now also back out for the Bulldogs. As Farrington lost it, and another Concordia Ann Arbor turnover. Hellman off a screen at the top to the left corner. Finds Kepke going for 3. No good. Rebound to Snow, who's back in as well for Ann Arbor. Johnson with 6 minutes to go here in the half. A tightly contested game. As now Snow with a long 3 ball. It's Farrington. That was actually too strong, and she comes up a little gimpy. You have to keep an eye on that as this pass inside and not able to handle it was Riley Pauly as the Cardinals get it back. As now Turman comes back onto the floor. You get one more look at this as you see Johnson go over to Farrington off that made through from a couple of possessions ago. That one almost hit from the O logo there, actually, there, Carter.
There you go.
Snow. And she's fouled. So if you're banking on something, if you're Ann Arbor having trouble getting into the front court, it's the Bulldogs trying to get them to rack up fouls.
And it's going to be crucial later on in free throws, especially with the bonus. It's going to be late in the game. This is looking to be a close one right now. But a couple key players already in foul trouble for both teams. It might be something that's going to swing the game's momentum in the end.
A nice, pretty move by Johnson. And a timeout has been called. Kiefer Haffey calls a timeout with 5:23 to play here in our first half of play. But a credit to Ann Arbor here, despite them having 16 turnovers already in this first half of play, they've been finding other ways to do it. But it hasn't been the easiest of ways they've been able to do it either, though.
No, and it's definitely hard, though, when you're playing a high-powered team like the Bulldogs. But you've seen the Cardinals, they've started to take back a little bit, slow down, and they've really started developing a more of an offensive scheme. Once they get over the half-court mark, the only thing holding them back right now is just the full-court pressure in all of them.
So as mentioned, 22-21, Ann Arbor over Nebraska as we kick off the 69th annual Concordia Invitational Tournament. First time in 4 years that it's back here in River Forest, Illinois. Again, our great crew behind the scenes giving you all these great shots of what the Geisman Gymnasium has been like in terms of sights and sounds. Our producer, Shelby Spitz, graphics and replay is Julia Beers, and our camera operators and Ryan McGee, Grace Miller, Julius Patelli, and Kelly Goody, and of course our humble director who refuses to put his name on the sheet, CJ Sellner. I appreciate the invite as well to the tournament opening breakfast earlier this morning.
How was that?
Very good.
Really?
Had some scrambled eggs, hash browns, some bacon. My stomach is all full, and I was, I've had enough for a while. I'm settled in here.
Wonder where my invite was.
Howland's three is no good. There's food for you at halftime, don't worry. As this ball is, well, it could have been a kickball violation actually, but not called as Hellman gets control. Sure, if you're a pasta guy, they may have some pasta for you at halftime. If that makes you feel any better.
Got to get them carbs.
There you go. You're a baseball guy. You got to have your carbs. As Hellman traveled, as that shot was no good anyway, with 4:43 rather to go here in the first half.
Something that we haven't seen really right now is that the Bulldogs, they've been held scoreless in the past 3.5 minutes. In that time, they're also 1 of 7 from the field, so a little struggle here early from the Bulldogs.
But then another steal to counter. Here they come trying to get numbers the other way. It's Pauly, and she's fouled. And she'll be at the line to try to break that scoreless draw card that you just talked about. As at the line will be Pauly, a 40% free throw shooter. She's only 4 of 10 at the line so far this season. Same as well in that three-point department. Same numbers there. As for the Cardinals, Simmons is back down on the floor along with Williams. Meanwhile, Pauly at the line. First one hits back rim, no. And a great look here of the free throws from Riley Pauly. Second one is good. So now Pauly comes out after making that shot. Lammers is back in. And now Birchmeyer's out on the floor for the Cardinals as Johnson heads to the bench. Snow now over to Neal. Jessica Neal, the senior from Gary, Indiana. Up ahead finds Snow. They got numbers as Snow to her left. Leaves it for Williams. Shot off the glass, no. Rebound controlled by Simmons. That shot, no, doesn't work either. And the rebound controlled by the Lady Bulldogs. And a nice behind the back there by Kepke ahead. Leaving it off. This three ball is up. That's no good from Osleson. And that goes out of bounds. And there's a foul on the floor. That's going to go on Lammers. And for Lammers, that'll be her second. And that's the team's fourth. So we've mentioned how if the Cardinals can get the Lady Bulldogs in foul trouble, that it could benefit them in terms of all the turnovers that they've had. As this one is out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Cardinals.
You see, they're able to use the aggressiveness of their Bulldogs to their advantage, and that's also in the foul department, like you just said. But the problem with that last possession, as you saw right there, that the Cardinals pick up their dribble. That's when the Bulldogs are going to start putting pressure, and that's when you get the bad passes. But it seems that the Cardinals have gotten a lot better with the press game since the first quarter.
Simmons has a worst to the left corner for Birchmeyer. 10 on the shot clock. Snow, Simmons again. With 5 on the shot clock. Simmons wanting to go baseline. Got it in the Williams, but she's fouled. That's going to be on Hellman. So that's the team's fifth. So now that's free throws the rest of the way here in this corner. So that puts Williams at the line. And Williams so far at the line today, 5 of 6. Now make it 6 of 7. And on top of that, she's got 9 rebounds. So she's already close to a double-double in this first half. And we still have over 3.5 minutes to play in the second quarter, as the second free throw is short. And she's going to get this one right back. Pass tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with the Bulldogs. Oh, no, it's going to go to him instead. The far official there changed his mind right on the fly. Pointed one way, then about 2 seconds later points the opposite direction. Grace Berry. She's got 9, make it 11, and one more perhaps coming.
Great job by Berry there, going to her opposite hand. You can see she's dribbling up, she's reading the defense. And you just see going to the left side, really just being a quick off the dribble and the nice underhand layup right there to also get the foul across the arm.
Dorn now is back in as Snow comes out. Berry at the line for the end one, a 74% shooter from the line on the season. That's off the iron, and I believe we had a lane violation, I want to say, so she's going to get one more. So a little redemption chance here for Berry. And she redeems herself there.
We've seen everything in the referee's pockets today already. We've seen almost everything since we've been broadcasting, too.
Yeah, we've had fan ejections, we've had lane violations, 10-second backcourt violations, blocks, charges.
Only at CIT.
No technicals or flagrants yet, though, as the layup from Kepke is good. But they've had to dive well into the rules books in terms of making calls today. And really in the first half of our first game of 4. And a whistle and another 10-second violation. And I'm looking at Kiefer Haffey, the head coach, on the sideline. Looks like he wants to emphasize, just moving forward into the front court. That may be the main stress in the locker room at halftime. As Berry floated her in too far to the left, as this one is alive and then controlled by Farrington. Now Birchmeyer bringing it ahead. Birchmeyer to the right corner as it goes to Farrington. Now Simmons facing a double team. Farrington again, not afraid to take a long three. Farrington had it poked from behind, and now it's out of bounds, and it'll go to the Bulldogs.
You see, though, the Cardinals, they realize that the only way they're going to beat the Bulldogs isn't really in transition. It's going to be if they set up their offense, moving the ball around. And Coach Haffey's okay with that if it goes out of bounds in the last second. But it's like you mentioned, it's that half-court stuff, getting it over in the full court and the 10-second violations. That's going to be really killer for them if they want to get their offense going.
Hellman, 3-ball up, no, too strong, gets her own rebound now. As Berry kicks out to Hellman, now to the left arc, another 3-ball chance is up, that rims out, no, ball still pinballing around, and eventually settled down by Birchmeyer. Under 2 minutes to play in the half, an exciting first half that's had a little bit of everything in it. Birchmeyer with a right-hand dribble. In for Williams, who tumbles over Lammers as the foul goes on Hellman. And that's going to be her third, so she's going to have to come off with the foul trouble there. Again, it's going to be 2 shots here because the bonus in effect. Cardinals with only 2 team fouls here so far. We have a happy birthday distraction chant from the Nebraska band. I guess whatever works if you're that student section, or rather band section.
Positive cheering is the key here. That's what they want.
I like it.
I like it too. It's something unique and different. It's not.
And something unique there. Converting on a 2-on-1 is Lammers. And it's a 5-point lead for the Bulldogs.
So it only took a couple of seconds to even get up the court there, but you see how fast they were. Lammers leading the charge, just finding open area and getting the layup.
Another loose ball in the backcourt. And I believe the Cardinals had possession, and a timeout on the floor was called. Wisely done there by Madison Birchmeyer. If she was the one that called a timeout, first-year player with some veteran awareness, if you will.
And that's one of the things, too. It's like you're coming down late in the quarter, and you know every possession is going to count before the half. So if you could even use one of your timeouts in the half, it's not going to hurt you to set up a new shot and get a new offense going.
So far, the Cardinals 6 of 18 from the field, while the Bulldogs 11 of 36 overall. And they're a team that is 5th in the NAIA D2 nationally in threes per game at just over 11. Right now, they're only 2 of 12, though.
And that's also, too, we could probably say because of the pressure and just this new environment that both teams are in. Like you mentioned before, the free throw shooting, too. Bulldogs haven't really particularly been shooting well from the free throw line today either. But the Cardinals, the reason why they're in this game is because of their free throw shooting.
So Neal will bring it ahead off the quick 30-second timeout as we approach a minute to go in the half. Neal. That's a blocking, or rather it's going to be a charge, excuse me. That's going to go against Neal. And that's going to be her third. So foul trouble racking up for some key players here on both sides as Barry, with under a minute to play, has it. It's Lammers, who is wide open for three. Duvel. High pass now from Barry, 10 on the shot clock. A lot of cross-court passing as Lammers nails a three.
What was so interesting about that play, we saw 2 cross-court passes, but that was something that the Bulldogs were actually working on in their warm-ups, and I was looking at them like, why are you doing that? Well, for that exact reason, you get Lammers in the corner for a three.
And a bad pass in the backcourt. Make that turnover number 24 in this first half as you get another look at this cross-court passing card you've referred to that you saw them doing warm-ups. And not often do you see a lot of that in a warm-up. You may see some like nice passes inside the wings respectively, but not from corner to corner with warm-ups like that trying to go for threes perhaps. As now the shot clock is off and the Bulldogs are going to hope for the final shot. Barry now with 10. Seibel with 6. Lammers inside, no. Ball alive and out of bounds to the Cardinals with 2.5 remaining.
You see the play, though, by Lammers. It was waiting for that ball screen to go through, movement, and then all of a sudden you just see her getting ready to post up in the paint.
And Cardinals don't even do anything with it. They'll just go to the locker room. They have 24 turnovers and have 24 points. Not often would you see that as a parallel stat line, but they only trail by 8 to the Bulldogs as they head to the locker room, down by 8, 32-24. We'll take our halftime break. Carter will get us set for the second half as we've only just begun in the 69th annual Concordia Invitational Tournament. We'll take our halftime break. We're back in a bit here on CSN.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for your halftime
There's a lot of
entertainment,
papers here.
let's bring on the dance team of Concordia, Nebraska. Concordia, Nebraska dance team, thank you very much, ladies. And we want to remind everyone that our CIT cheer and dance competition will be tomorrow morning. We will get started around 10 a.m. and everyone is invited to cheer for your favorite school squad. Hope to see everyone out for that.
thoughts, and I should remember like my tweet. As we come back with you here to get set for second half action, take a look at some of the team stats through one half of play. I want to make a quick correction that I said as we ended the first half. They did take off one of the Ann Arbor turnovers, so they actually have 23, not 24. I mentioned 24 turnovers, 24 points, but either way, a lot of turnovers for the Cardinals. You take a look at some of the field goal percentages, not the highest from either side either. And you see here, Carter, as we go through this first half and we get set for the second, I mean, backcourt turnovers, I mean, it was just countless on the side of Ann Arbor.
And it's something that you don't really think about in your gameplay because that's something that you're usually just accustomed to as a basketball player, naturally, just getting it over the line. But because of this pressure that we've seen from the Bulldogs, it's really been throwing the Cardinals for a loop this whole game.
And also we saw in that second quarter, yeah, Nebraska was still getting the steals, but there was that drought that you talked about where they were scores for a good 3.5 minutes of play.
And it was that part of it. It was just they couldn't get anything going on the offensive side, and it's really hard as a team that's really aggressive. If you keep going at the basket, you're not getting the shots that you want, but they found it late in that quarter by moving the ball around a little bit more, and we've seen the corner three has been key to them to get back in the lead of this game.
What needs to come out here for the Cardinals down by 8?
It's going to be a proof of stamina. We've always seen it, and it's definitely hard when you get a team that's been pushing you the whole game and pressure and on both sides of the ball. So as the Cardinals are going to want to stay in this game as long as they want to and actually pull out a win, it's going to take a full 110% effort from the Cardinals on their side and stay in it till the end.
We've talked about this tournament's history. We mentioned it in our open that Nebraska, on the women's side of things, they have won the last 6 CIT tournaments. The last team to have done it before them was, well, this Ann Arbor program back in 2013. Needless to say, Nebraska has owned the last decade here in CIT play with winning 8 of the 10 CIT tournaments in the last decade, and the other 2 belong actually to Concordia and Arbor. Coming into CIT play today, CU Nebraska on the women's side of things, 74-18 in tournament history. Ann Arbor 16-20. But I mean, it's just amazing what head coach Drew Olson has done for this Bulldogs program the last decade and a half.
And in the CIT, Drew Olson, he's 23-3. So the legacy that he's already stamped on this program as not just a head coach, but as sheer dominance in the CIT, that's something that you really don't get to see a lot of at these smaller schools.
As we come back now to get started for second half action. Again, 32-24, Bulldogs with the lead. And it was the Bulldogs that went on a 5-0 run the final minute 42 of the second quarter to increase their lead up to 8. And for the Bulldogs, we talked about some of their shooting struggles. They are 1 of 7 in their last 7 3-point attempts, as they have not been able to get the long ball to go, rather on a consistent basis. So as both teams now take the floor, Bulldogs will be going left to right on your screen, Cardinals right to left, and off we go for the second half. It'll be Barry controlling it over to Seibel. Seibel inside for Lammers, as Lammers into the paint, spinning through 2 defenders, off the glass and in. What a nice shot there from the senior, Philly Lammers.
We've seen her do these kind of circus shots the whole game, and it's like, wow, how does she do that? Well, it's just she's so athletic. She's been able to put together a complete game as a player, and that's why she's so effective and has really written her name in the Nebraska record books.
Snow now for Dorn as it goes down to Madison Birchmeyer. Driving there was Simmons, and then backed out with 10 on the shot clock. Snow looking to feed it tightly in there to Williams. That was a high-risk pass, and it stays with the Cardinals at 4 on the shot clock.
See, the Cardinals, though, kind of using the same scheme that the Bulldogs are using, is those skip passes and really the ball movement all around, just trying to get the Bulldogs on their heels.
Snow to inbound. Oh, and another tight feed, and that one's stolen away by Lammers inside as Barry takes it ahead. Koepke off a screen from Lammers, gives it off to Barry. Grace Barry, left corner, Riley Seibel, 3, no, and the rebound to Tristan Williams. Noticing now the pace picked up here the second that the Cardinals have it in the backcourt as it's out of bounds here, and they'll stay with them. And that's something we didn't even see in that first half much of, is that pace in the backcourt. We had, I think it was 3 10-second violations for the Cardinals. Either way, 3 too many for them.
Right, and it's the pressure, but you see that the Bulldogs are able to put the pressure because they know what the Cardinals can do on offense, and you see that once they get settled, they're actually pretty effective in their shooting game and their offensive scheme. It's just so uncharacteristic of the Bulldogs, though, to be letting so many travels over to the side.
So Snow will have the baseline inbound. 16 here on the shot clock. Up for Birchmeyer. Now Simmons. As Snow rings it baseline. Finds it over to Dorn. 7 on the shot clock. That shot's not going to count. It's going to be an offensive foul instead on Simmons. Or I believe they actually may have called a 3-second violation. Either way, it's Bulldogs basketball. As quickly up the head was Lammers. Misses, but she's going to go to the line for a pair, as that's going to be another foul, this one on Simmons again. So Jamae Simmons picks up the foul. Lammers at the line. Her first free throw attempt of the game, that's no good. Lammers is 63% free throw shooter on the year, averages just under 7 rebounds a game. Averages almost 2.5 steals on top of it, and has 18 total blocks on the season. Second free throw there works. And it's now an 11-point Bulldogs lead. Dorn up ahead. Oh, what a nice feed up for Simmons. We sound like a broken record talking about the backcourt struggles, but a nice, pretty move inside by Katie Snow. And then a turnover right away. It's Dorn to settle it down and wait for reinforcements.
You see what they could have done. They could have pushed the ball there, but great job by Dorn just slowing it up because they know that they can set something up. And you've seen this already early on in the third quarter.
Dorn, ooh, with a nice fake inside. Oh, and it's in the end, turnover. But what a great move by on the top of the circle there to get the defender to fall down as Barry float pass inside. Lammers bucket, good. And timeout, Concordia Ann Arbor.
And you can see there Williams looking at her teammates like, where's my help? Because if she was fronting right there, it's very difficult to get something on the backside with no help.
Here's Simmons, and again, here's that nice move that we just saw from Snow, kind of that little underhand almost, and fakes it. Just tries to get the defense to jump a little early, made it work there, but her team still trails by 11 here with 7:35 to go in the third quarter of action. And again, we welcome you to our First game of 4, the first of 8 this weekend in the 2020 Concordia Invitational Tournament, the 69th tournament to ever take place. And once again, for the first time in 4 years, back here in River Forest, Illinois, alongside Carter Gledhill, I'm Ryan Fahey with you. Carter's going to be, I think, beyond tired after tomorrow's championship and the other 4 games that take place tomorrow.
Good night's sleep and a cup of coffee. That's
there
all
you
you
go.
need.
Just 1 cup? Or?
Probably have more.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see, though.
And, of course, you'll be on the call with Sam Brief tomorrow. As Dorn up now for Snow. Snow on the baseline, but dribbled it out of bounds.
You could see, though, the kind of scheme that the Cardinals have been putting together, and Coach Haffey was starting to tell his players that he needs someone all the time cut through the middle because that's where the weak spot is in the zone for the Bulldogs, and they've started to exploit that a little bit more. That's why you're not seeing as much pressure as we did in the first half.
Left corner 3, that's good again. Mackenzie Kepke from downtown. So another 3-ball falls for the Bulldogs. They're 4 of 15 at the line, but are trying to make it going from there as of late. As that shot is missed on the side of the Cardinals, and a whistle, and the ball's out of bounds, and it's going to stay on this side of the floor. And here's one more look at that Kepke 3, Carter.
You see the pressure that she just had in there when you got Barry driving into the middle of the paint. It's going to be very hard to keep both the defender in between you and the shooter, and you just see the kick out there to Kepke. Great job on the Bulldogs moving the ball around.
Snow thought about a 3 there instead of reset. Snow, the 5'9" junior from Grosse Pointe Woods, Michigan. Feeds it now in for Williams. And at the top it was going to go to Farrington, but Barry comes away with a steal. Barry turns defense into offense.
And she's kind of played this kind of like sneaky stealth mode on the defense where you see there when you get a little pressure, she's just going to fly up out of nowhere and steal the ball out of your hands.
She's now got 14 ties. Lammers for the game high lead, her teammate. Barry 6 of 11 now from the field as this long-range 3 doesn't work. Offensive rebound, no second chance is a charge on Katie Snow.
You see there, Duval really just setting the feet there and using Snow just bodies just going into the paint, and that's just the aggressiveness again. We've seen it. The Bulldogs have come out really sharp and aggressive, and then they're going to take the step back also and make you come to them, and they're going to get you on the foul.
That's also her 4th, that being Katie Snow. So you take out one of your primary ball handlers now for, I would say, a good chunk of this third quarter for now for head coach Kiefer Haffey. As we're going to see 5 new players come in for the Bulldogs, as while the 5 that are out there now, that 3 from Kepke's no good, but an offensive rebound controlled by Riley Seibel. Bounce pass in, shot no, but a foul. As that was inside the paint there for the Bulldogs. That was Duvel who got fouled. 4 new players come on in. Delaney Fay, in addition to Mackenzie Hellman. On top of that out there is Taryn Schutte. Duvel still at the line, as his first of 2 is good. And a quick note on Delaney Fay. So if you look at their roster, it says, it's spelled F-A-H-E-Y. Now, no relation, because we know my last name, as that second one there is good, and now into the game is Elsie Oslison. So her coach and Drew Olson called her Fay for 2 years. He thought it was that the entire time, until 2 years in, this being the second year, she goes, yeah, that's not how you say it. It's Fay. There's a foul there.
It's going to be a great story someday to tell your kids right there.
But it's just amazing that it took 2 years for you to say something to your coach.
Seems like a professor, though, in class. You get the same thing. There's a girl in my class that had the same problem.
Whoa, she got your name wrong or you got her name wrong?
No, she didn't get my name wrong. She just never had the courage until halfway through the semester to tell the professor it's wrong.
Count the bucket and 1 for Tristan Williams. No mistakes made there. And you see, once again, as you'll get another look at this nice feeding off the baseline there as well from Jade Finfera to get that even in towards Williams. And she's got the and one coming up. And she converts it. Deficit down to 15. As Faye has control, gets a screen. Almost got around a defender, but there's going to be a bit of a little hook around there on Farrington. So Farrington gets called for the foul. That's going to be her first. That'll be the team's third. So baseline inbound for the Bulldogs. Again, the winner here will move on to the CIT championship tomorrow, while the loser of this will play in the consolation game tomorrow afternoon. And of course, we have the dance competition in the morning before the games take place, as Faye's three is good. The sophomore from Ord, Nebraska, with her first field goal of the afternoon. And again, here comes that backcourt pressure. Up ahead, as now in with it is Simmons. Simmons to the right corner. This three from Finfera, that's short, tipped out, and Simmons gets it right back, lost it, and couldn't save it.
See Simmons, though, really just being aggressive, thundering down right there. Get a look here from that three.
Yeah, nice screen set up there on top of that too, Carter.
And that's like a little mini set play you always have in your back pocket when you get in those situations where you're running a motion offense. But just great job all around by Faye, just really getting over there in the corner.
Faye again looks to feed it inside a tight area for Lammers as the shots miss and the rebound control by Simmons. What a tough angle pass to get that one inside, as that's going to be a foul on Hellman. Hellman a little confused by the call, and for Hellman, that's her fourth. So she's going to have to come out. We saw with three earlier on in the second quarter, she had to come out for a bit. She's going to have to do the same thing again, as Barry has to come back in her place. Johnson will have the half-court inbound, and it seemed like the players weren't set initially, and the far official just kept counting for that 5 seconds, and the Cardinals say good thing they were able to get it in. As now Shelby James, who's now in, gives it off for Finfera. Johnson, now to Simmons. Simmons, hook pass in, stolen. And up ahead on a 2-on-0 breakaway is Barry, keeps it herself, and scores.
We see just the aggressiveness too, but it was also that kind of weird pass from Simmons where she was just a hair short of really getting that ball into the paint. And you see the Bulldogs taking advantage of the turnover again.
Dorn into the front court now for Finfera. Finfera, the freshman from Delta, Ohio. As Johnson for James. James off the glass too strong, and the rebound controlled by Osleson. Barry, who's got a game-high 16, leaves it for Lammers, who's got 14. Lammers almost traveled to the right corner. Three ball, high, arcing three is in and out. And the rebound by Samantha Dorn. Well, that one was all the way around the rim. As Finfera on a fake, off the glass, no. But the rebound controlled by Shelby James. Lost the handle again, out of bounds. And to the Bulldogs it will go. Stephanie Abraham now onto the floor. The sophomore from Marine City, Michigan. As now Birchmeyer is back out there for Ann Arbor as Johnson comes out. Of course, we'll have the men's action for these two teams coming up 40 minutes after this one is done. And then the nightcap of Concordia Chicago versus Concordia Wisconsin, women and men, and a doubleheader at 6 and 8:15 tonight. As if you think this gym is loud now with these two fan bases, student sections, and bands making the trip, you just wait till tonight, as this left side drive shot is good from Barry. Finfera off for Dorn, lost it. Finfera was right place, right time. And this one's going to be stolen again in the backcourt. Faye, another three, no good. Rebound, and controlling that one is Osleson. Turning around inside the paint and delivering. And it seems like within just a matter of these few minutes, it has really almost become near blowout proportions here.
Yeah, and the Bulldogs going on a 9-0 run in the past 3 minutes, going 5 for 6 from the field at that time too. And really just taking the air out of the wind, taking the air out of the sail of right now the Cardinals, and it's really hard when, like we mentioned earlier, it's just stamina is getting worn down by this constant pressure put on by the Bulldogs.
Cornell's back out there along with Pauly. In addition, now Rebecca Higgins checks in for Nebraska. As now in the left corner, Seibel, 3, no good. Again, they have not been able to get consistent threes here today, Carter, as they are now 5 of 19 from downtown. Seibel, in that same spot she missed earlier, inside goes for 2, that's an air ball. Almost hit some of the band area there, but it's out of bounds to the Cardinals. Again, this is a Cardinals team that, if you saw them at the end of December, you had a lot of, the hopes are still very optimistic with this season for them, as the long 2 is no good off the hands of Abraham, but it's been a very shaky January at 2-3 coming into this tournament so far.
Yeah, and you know what you mentioned, 6-0 in December, that's fantastic. You kind of get a little slump at 2-3.
As the shot there was up and good from Pauly.
It's just, again, just this Nebraska team, we talked about it, just the athleticism and energy that they've had. They've really had just upped the pressure, it seems like, even in the second half.
And even with the lead that they have, they're playing as if it's kind of a one-possession game to a degree, keeping that backcourt pressure on.
That's kind of the mentality, though, Coach Olson, because you never know. You're still in this tournament, and this game, even if it's a blowout now, it's got to set you up for the next game, and that's why he's been so successful as a coach, and they've won so many CIT titles.
4 on the shot clock. Williams, no, but she's fouled and will be at the line for 2. That's going to be on Riley Pauly, the foul. That's going to be her first, as we get one more look now as that play from Nebraska on the last possession. And just great passing overall there, just really staying in rhythm for the Bulldogs there, Carter.
Just great ball movement. You see Higgins cutting across into the middle of the lane, and then Pauly just being right there in the opposite block for the layup.
First one is good there for Williams, who's now got 13. 13 points, 9 of them from the free throw line, has a double-double, 11 rebounds, and also has 3 blocks to her credit as well. That second one there is good. She's now got 14, which is a team high. Heave pass quickly up ahead. Right wing 3, that's good from downtown, Rebecca Higgins.
And just when you think you got a second to breathe and collect yourself, that's not going to happen. You see the quick pass up again by Pauly, and just Higgins just draining it from the 3.
Going out of bounds, and Johnson lets it go. Shot clock off with 12.6 seconds remaining in the third. Birchmeyer will have the inbound. The freshman from Corunna, Michigan. Simmons with 10. And it's stolen away. It's Berry. And she scores again. 60-31. And that is how the third quarter comes to an end. The Nebraska faithful making their voices loud and proud inside the Geisman Gymnasium because of many plays like the one you just saw to end the third quarter of action there, Carter Gledhill.
Now you got 17 steals on the game for the Bulldogs, but how about this? 34 points that came from those 17 turnovers. It's something that's just been really the game changer here for that's been separating the Cardinals and the Bulldogs.
That's almost a near, like, if you want to look at ratios in terms of how many points via turnovers you get off of them and how much are you successful, that's pretty much near 100% really.
And it's really there, but we've also seen just the drastic shift in energy that we've seen from both teams. The Nebraska Bulldogs came out, they shot almost 60% from the field in that last quarter.
I don't mean to cut you off, but whose dad is this? Look on, if you look at the screen here.
That's
one of the
we talk about you only see once at CIT, and that's one of them right there.
How's he getting down? There we go.
Little help. Little help.
One of the many things you see here at CIT. You take a look there as well. You look on your screen, a 39-9 run over the last 15 and a half minutes essentially of play.
And we've looked at the stats beforehand, and we kind of looked at something like, oh, that's not something you don't really see. Concordia, Nebraska's margin of win in the CIT tournament, 33 points. So it definitely shows their dominance in this tournament. And it's getting to that point right now, but again, they're just shutting down the Cardinals on all levels and shooting as well. The Cardinals only 2 for 8 from the field in that last quarter.
So we begin the fourth quarter. Cardinals will have the ball. As again, it has been all Bulldogs all game long, especially in the steals department, as that one's poked away and a jump ball's been called. Arrow is going to point to the Bulldogs. And a lot of arrows have been pointing to the Bulldogs here this afternoon. Actually, it was actually rather a foul. One official had the jump ball. It looks like we have a foul that went against the Cardinals. That went. So they have a foul listed. We'll get that confirmed in a moment. We'll check our stats here in a second to clarify that. Either way, it's Bulldogs' ball as Barry to the right corner. It's Seibel as it's worked around to the left arc. Higgins, who drained a late 3 in the third. Off now for Barry. Barry inside, tight feed window, and that one's stolen away by Paige Johnson. Up now for Williams, off the glass and in.
He talked about how much of a difference maker she has been in this team when she's been playing, but another quick turnover here for the Bulldogs.
Johnson in for Williams again, count it, and the foul. That's given the student section of the Cardinals something to roar about. And you get one more look at this one in transition here. Drawing 3 defenders even.
Yeah, and you just see that Williams is just so strong when she has the ball in the post, and she's really been a dominant force in this game. 18 points already.
Looking for 19 right here. She's 4 of 9 from the field, 10 of 13 so far at the line today. Converts. Now 11 of 14 at the free throw line. And almost 5-second violation off the inbound, so Cardinals trying to reverse the fortune of backcourt miscues. Jump pass in, it's Lammers, fouled. That's going to be on Williams, and that'll be her first. So now Lammers will be at the line. She's got 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 steals, and a block. And so far she's 1 of 2 at the free throw line here today. 18 steals for the Bulldogs so far compared to the Cardinals' 5. We talked about turnovers as well. 48 combined, 36 coming from the Cardinals.
And it's something that we've seen too, like we mentioned so many times, this new environment for a lot of teams, you're going to get a little turnover happy at times, and you're going to get some carelessness, but to see that many turnovers in one game is pretty remarkable.
Snow is fouled, and she'll be at the line. Bit of a later whistle, though, as that's going to be on Kepke, the 6'1 sophomore. And now a timeout call by head coach Drew Olson. There'll be a 30-second timeout. And again, coming up after the conclusion of this one, we'll have about a 40-minute transition period when we'll have the men's action take place between this same Bulldogs and Cardinals programs. And then tonight, it'll be Concordia Chicago and Concordia Wisconsin. And so you get a look at the Cardinals student section yet again. They're making the weekend trip out here to River Forest. And that was Kepke's 3rd foul as well. And that'll be the team's 2nd of the quarter. Snow here for the first of 2. A 77% free throw shooter on the year makes it. She's now 2 of 3 at the line today. Has 1 more. Snow for 1 more. Makes it. Barry will bring it ahead. She's got the game-high 20. She's also got 6 assists and 6 steals on 9 of 14 shooting. To the left corner, it's Kepke. Now up towards the top again for Barry. 15 on the shot clock. Barry with 7. Barry inside, off the glass, no good. Williams another rebound. She's got 12 of those. Birchmeyer. Now for Farrington as it bounce passes over to Snow. Johnson. Snow again with 10. A long three is good!
NBA range 3 right there from Snow.
At James Harden, you've got some company. And a foul away from the ball. That's going to be on Lindsey Farrington. This is almost near. Look how far back that is.
That's just, you see how close she is even to the volleyball 10-foot line right there.
That's not, yeah, about a foot away, I'd say.
Put that on the highlight reel.
If the CIT tournament had long-range three-point contests, we have our leader in the clubhouse as we get a foul on Snow, and that's going to be her 5th. She collided there on the right wing, so Dorn's going to have to come on in. And you get a look there, Snow coming out.
And that's a huge loss for the Cardinals team as well. Someone we've said that's like been a big part of the offense and moving the ball around. That's a huge loss, especially as we go into the 4th quarter.
So she'll finish today 11 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist and a steal on 3 of 5 shooting. But she does end the day with that highlight three-pointer. She was also 3 of 4 at the line today in 20 minutes of action, while also committing 7 turnovers. Lammers, spin move in, blocked by Farrington. They reset with 3. Barry with 2. Barry inside, shot clock violation, and I don't think anybody was aware on the floor.
And I don't think anybody was either, but how about that block? Out of nowhere, just coming in and just swatting it away.
It's a 10-0 run here for the Cardinals, the last 2.5 minutes of play. They've made 3 of the last 4 shots, that being the Cardinals, as they are going to try to not go away quietly down by 19. Neal, Farrington, 3-ball, good! It's a 13-0 run for the Cardinals.
It's been that kind of game. We've seen aggressiveness, and this is what we talk about. You're never out of it, even at the beginning of the 4th. The 13-0 run has really been just getting them back in this game.
Lammers misses, but she's fouled, and she'll be at the line. That'll be on Williams, and that's going to be her 2nd. As Osleson comes back in, along with Chloe Schumacher, making an appearance now. And again, this is a team in Coach Drew Olson where, you look at some of the numbers coming into this tournament as the first free throw rolls out. There you see 7 points a game from players. 5, 6, 4, 8, 8, 6, 5, 13 from a couple of players in Lammers and Barry. The whole team is used.
Exactly, and when you got a team with so much talent and depth, I mean, why not use them all? Why not get everybody involved?
Even Riley Pauly seeing some action. I mean, you look at the amount of players that have already checked in today. I believe 14 players have been used as Williams tried to get a foul, couldn't get one, as the shot was well short. Osleson now with Hellman, who's playing with 4 fouls herself. Pass in, Osleson, travel.
And she had the right idea, and Osleson just really just getting into the paint. She had it, but that extra move that she had, just a little too much on the extra foot.
Birchmeyer will inbound. Again, backcourt pressure here still sustained by the Bulldogs. It's Simmons off for Birchmeyer. Johnson into the paint. Left off for Williams. That one's poked up high, and Hellman keeps it in. And another steal. Osleson will settle it down for Hellman. Right corner. Oh, almost mishandling that one, though, with Schutte. As inside, running in, off the glass, and good for Osleson.
You see there, finally getting the footwork down. Nice little pump fake at the top of the free throw line, and then just getting around the defenders.
Johnson is fouled by Schutte. So Schutte, that's going to be her second. Because now you have Dorn back out there along with Williams. Delaney Fay now back out there. 5:45 to go. Again, all the turnovers have been so pivotal as to why this lead is 19 for the Bulldogs, as Birchmeyer's three is off the target. Hellman will bring it ahead. And now Lammers kind of using a wide receiver style separation inside and gets the easy bucket.
You see that great layup. That great layup came from a great assist and just using her body, creating separation as getting the defender in front of her, allowing her to use the backside of the paint.
Simmons inside, that's off the mark. And the rebound to Schutte. Approaching 5 minutes to go. Fay, right arc three, that's off the mark. And Johnson the rebound. Johnson trying to dribble out of a double team, but a foul, and that's going to be on Fay. Simmons now comes out. Farrington in for the Cardinals. Neal also in. Johnson out for Ann Arbor. And are we going to have a Bulldogs sub? No, we're not. Paul is going to go, so checking out the next dead ball. Farrington off the inbound. Under 5 minutes to play, 65-44 Bulldogs. Neal, floater right side, that's good. As for Neal, she's now got 5. Or rather 3, excuse me, as that shot's missed. Birchmeyer the rebound. Farrington, left angle drive. Wanted to draw a foul for a shot, didn't get it. Lost it over to Schutte. Fay, traveled. Stopped on a dime. She probably in hindsight wanted the three because she would have had a lot of space.
Yeah, you would have had a lot of space there too, but just look at the pressure here too that we've seen that the Bulldogs have been dealing with too. That early run that we've seen from the Cardinals went on a 13-3 run, but look at how composed they were and kind of taking that step back and taking it in. That's a veteran team from Coach Olson, and that's why they've been successful.
Neal, mentioned her 3 points on 1 of 3 shooting, playing with 3 fouls. Farrington, that three is blocked by Fay. Johnson recovers though. 16 on the shot clock. Now for Neal. As we are 6 minutes into this fourth quarter. Oh, and a baseline little, I don't want to call it a dance cup, but kind of hopping her way back there, trying to sneak in was Farrington. That's last touched by Nebraska out of bounds.
But then you see Fay just on the baseline right there. Nice job though, just staying home on the backside, making sure nobody cuts on the baseline.
Neal in now for Williams with 3 on the shot clock. Tie up, jump ball, and the arrow stays with the Cardinals and 2 seconds to go on the shot clock. And after the game as well, we'll speak with the winning coach of today's game, and that'll be for all 4 games as well. As in with 2 on the shot clock, Williams can't get it off in time. About a half second quicker she would have got it off, but a shot clock violation there. Barry, as Cornell and Higgins are set to come in on the next dead ball for the Bulldogs, as Hellman's 3 is in and out, no, and the rebound to Johnson. Neal, baseline jumper, no. Cardinals aren't even getting the friendly rolls here this afternoon either. The men will hope to turn things around in the next game as Hellman's 3 is good. As Hellman now has 6.
But great assist there too by Barry. She's got 7 on the day now, but she's really just been finding those shooters in the corner. Has been really controlling the offense and getting them started.
Johnson for Williams. Muscling her way in off the glass. No, Barry the rebound. That's second rebound today for Grace Barry. As she's got the game-high 20 points. And that's an offensive foul. And that's going to be on Barry.
A little too much body there from Barry on the inside, though. You see, though, when she's coming down the court with the ball, you see she's really just being slow with her dribbles, reading you as a defender, and that's what makes her so quick off the dribble and able to find all the people on the side of the three-point line that's been really getting the open shots.
Again, if this result holds, we'll have the opportunity to speak to head coach Drew Olson, get his thoughts on the game today and look ahead to tomorrow. As Johnson raises up for three, that's no good off the rim. And the rebound controlled by Farrington and scores right away.
This is so lucky as the ball goes up and a bunch of bodies in there. Farrington just being right there.
Oh, and a double dribble on Rebecca Higgins. Didn't argue too much with the call as Abraham now is back out on the floor. Again, you want to give the Cardinals credit here as well. They are fighting for every second as well, despite the deficit. As James, also in now for Ann Arbor, leaves it off for Neal as we approach 2 minutes to go. Again, the men's action between these two schools takes place 40 minutes after we get done here with this one. And of course, our nightcap will feature Concordia Chicago, the host school obviously, and Concordia Wisconsin in a NAC rematch.
In action.
Friday night in action.
Yes, even better.
Tonight. As if you think this place is loud now with the great fan bases that have traveled here, you wait till tonight. You may not be able to hear us as Johnson's free throw misses.
And that's going to be a game, too, where both Concordia teams, we can't even say Concordia teams because there's so many here.
That's why we
the Cougars.
That's why we say Nebraska,
right.
Ann Arbor, Chicago,
Let's say
and
Chicago.
Wisconsin. There you
They
go.
traveled up there, and both of them came out with losses. Those were tough losses for both of them. But it's really been a turning point for kind of both teams, and it's going to be really exciting to see how much they've grown in that span since we last saw them when they were playing the Falcons.
Of course, Zio Golding for the men's side of things, and Rashawn Amos, just to name a couple of guys.
Landon Gladney, too, is going to be coming back. He was out for a while with an injury.
Saw him in that game Saturday against Illinois Tech as Faye's three is good again. Another three for Faye. She's got 6.
2 for 3 on the day now from behind the arc. She's just been a little sharpshooter, almost forgotten about in the Cardinals, forgetting about her in the defensive side, but she's been knocking down shots.
James inside is not fouled. Going to be a jump ball. Arrow will stay with her team. With 87 seconds remaining in regulation. So for the Bulldogs, they'll await the winner of the women's CUW-CUC matchup for tomorrow night's championship game of the CIT. Well, Ann Arbor will await the loser in the consolation game tomorrow. Assuming this holds with the final 70 seconds. Right corner three, no good off the hands there of Avery Lambrecht. As still controlled, another three ball is up from Higgins, that's no good. Lambrecht the offensive rebound, but is fouled. Foul's gonna go on Farrington. That's going to be her 4th. Then Farah now comes back in along with Turman. Johnson and Farrington come on out. As Lambrecht, who's a 92% free throw shooter, and now there's the broadcaster's jinx.
It's happened before.
Pretty sure I did that in the CUC game against Lakeland, I want to say.
I think you did.
When we were here last Thursday.
I think you did.
Oh, well. I strike again. What can I say? Don't at me on Twitter for that. I'm not the only one I don't think that's done that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
Joe Buck's done it plenty of times.
We've got 3 more games after this today, so. Sam may have it happen tomorrow, too. I don't know. As that one's out of bounds. It'll be Neal to inbound. The Cardinals on the day so far have shot 45% from downtown, 36 overall in the game. As that's another turnover. As again, they have almost had as many turnovers as points as Faye hits another three.
And she made sure that time that was a 3-2. Look, check and make sure her foot was on the line. But she's been pretty good in this late in this half.
Inside now for Abraham, but she's fouled. You know, it's a weird parallel here. We mentioned this at the end of the first half with the Cardinals, as you see on the screen, with 48 points. They have 42 turnovers.
And we've talked about it, I think, plenty of times throughout this game, is how good the Bulldogs are forcing turnovers. I mean, they've been phenomenal throughout the year, averaging 33 for the opposing team. But, again, a lot of those turnovers that we saw today from the Cardinals, of those 42, a lot of them were just careless 10-second turnovers and just things you wouldn't see normally in a game.
And this is a team in the Bulldogs, as the shot clock is now off, as Chloe Schumacher leaves that one off for Lambrecht, and back into Schumacher, who lost it out of bounds, but he'll still stay with her team. The Bulldogs coming into the tournament at a plus 15.9 in the turnover margin. That's tops in all of NAIA D2.
That's impressive, and you see them today too, how effective they are in just creating assists and opportunities for everybody too, just to get open. They're not putting themselves in situations to turn it over.
Final seconds are going to tick on down, and that is going to do it, as the Nebraska Bulldogs will move on to tomorrow night's CIT championship game with a 74-49 victory over the Cardinals of Concordia University, Ann Arbor.
But give credit to the Cardinals, just looking at the stats right here. That was the second lowest scoring win for the Bulldogs this season. So give credit to them for holding this team that's usually averaging close to 95 points a game to only 75.
74-49, the final. Of course, Katie Snow for the Cardinals also fouled out earlier in the game. Grace Berry was the leading scorer with 20 points on 9 of 15 shooting, 7 assists, 6 steals. Philly Lammers had 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 steals. And on the side for the Cardinals of Ann Arbor, you had Williams leading the way scoring-wise with 19 points on 4 of 10 shooting. As now we'll have Carter take the headset and transfer it on over to the winning coach here and head coach Drew Olson. And, well, Coach, you forced a lot of steals, but you guys have done that for quite a while. Nothing new in that department. What was your plan of attack coming into this one today?
Well, just to continue to pressure like we did. I thought Ann Arbor did a really nice job defensively. We were just really out of sorts at times, and we pretty much just played one really good quarter in the third, and that was the difference.
Your team, in terms of all-around scoring, the wealth is spread around so much, and it's just a lot of unselfish basketball from your team as well.
Yeah, it's a great group that really shares the ball, and they don't care who gets the success. They just want the team win.
With that win being said, you're set now for the CIT championship tomorrow. You're well familiar with that. Of course, you got to wait for what's going to be happening later on tonight. While you wait, though, you've kind of looked a little bit into what CUW and CUC may bring to the table for you guys. Any early thoughts?
Wisconsin's just really disciplined. Stacy does a great job, and Chicago's playing with a lot more energy, and so I think it's going to be an interesting game, especially at home for Chicago.
Congrats to you. We'll see you tomorrow night for the championship game.
Thank you.
Well, that is head coach Drew Olson joining us here as we wrap up game 1 of 4 as the Bulldogs take the 74-49 victory over the Cardinals of Concordia Ann Arbor. We're going to step aside for a little bit, as coming up next, it'll be the men's action between the Bulldogs and the Cardinals. You won't want to miss it. Myself and Carter will have that game and the other two after that as well. Stick around here on the Cougar Sports Network. We've got a lot more to do. Hey, he never took the... yeah, I was like... He never took the sheet. I was trying to give it to him. He never wanted it.